I had this moment of clarity, that wherever I was right then in that moment, you know, sober, even though I was like in this major withdrawal
Mhm.
state, uh, unable to move my arms and legs, was better. I was in better shape than I was before I broke my neck. And I vowed to myself in that moment that whatever opportunity God gave me to have another life, that I would do it all different, that I would never make the same mistakes again, that I would build. And I've read some of your writings a little bit about around simple pillars, right? Faith, family, and a purpose. And finding out what that is, not being afraid, radical ownership, never shying away. I'm not gonna live in shame, it is what happened and then where I got happened, but I will never let myself or let my family down, my wife, my kids, the people that stayed with me ever again, and whatever that took, and that, I would fight with everything I had in my body to get back to being a dad as the best functional father I could be and husband. They told me I'd never pick up my kids again. I could throw my kid, just you better be there to catch them. Because I'm not, I'm not catching them. But that was just a crazy time, and by the grace of God, I got into Craig, and when I got to Craig, I was still really out of it. I had one of like probably the more famous entrances to the hospital of all time. I had a total psychotic meltdown.
And
I
this is
thought I
post-surgery?
Post-surgery, I was at Memorial Hospital for 3 weeks and then in ICUs, and then Craig Hospital is a premier spinal cord injury facility in the world, and it's in, Denver, actually, and
Just kinda in your backyard
yeah,
a little bit, right? Isn't
yeah,
it
and they
funny how that works?
actually, yeah, well, and they actually my insurance company rejected my initial application to Craig, which I didn't do. My brother, I mean, without my brother, I don't know where I'd be today, and, for a lot of reasons. But for that 3-week time frame, he manned the ship, man. My wife manned the house, and my brother took care of everything else. My dad, mom were obviously there too, but I can't, and my sister, I don't wanna leave her out. I'm not trying to leave anybody out, but my brother really took the reins on that, and he fought the appeals process. They said I'd get the same care, and in that world, like, you have the Yankees and the Dodgers, and then you've got, like, high school baseball.
Mm.
That's how far the drop off is from a Craig. There's a place in Chicago, I think Atlanta, to then basically the next stop is like a upgraded nursing home, and that's where they wanted to send me, and they said I'd come out of this disastrous accident and with the same quality of life if I went to Craig, and my brother said absolutely not. My friend Matt Smith, a guy we know, named Johnny Grove, had broken his neck and had an incomplete injury, and he has a much more severe injury than I do. But they're all from Pueblo, where I'm from, and Matt came to the hospital right away and told my brother and my dad, and "You're gonna get him to Craig no matter what." He's like, "I don't know a lot about this, right?" But his best friend Johnny had been through all this and had been to Craig. And so my brother tackled that mission and got me into Craig. I thought I took an ambulance that flew and drove to Craig. I thought, like, that when we got into traffic, and it was like
Vertical takeoff?
got us out of the
Man,
traffic, and then my brother's, like, still trying to get me not to realize how crazy I am, and he's like,
Kenny, don't talk.
"Why?"
Don't talk too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, you're good. They're not gonna let you in if you talk, you know what I mean? And, and he goes, but he's like, "Why didn't it just fly all the way?" And I didn't even miss a beat. I was like, "I didn't build it, I don't know. I just rode in it, Corey. I'm just telling
I
you
wasn't behind the
about this.
wheel.
All I knew is I was in the air, and then I was on the highway."
Wow. Wow, wow.
And I had a minder. They wouldn't let me out of the hospital room without somebody by my side, and even in a power wheelchair. And it was on the slowest speed you could possibly imagine. I mean, I was trusted to do nothing.
Mhm.
They put me in what's called a posy bed because, and it's got like zippers on the outside,
No,
and yeah, like a lunatic. And I can't move
you
my
can't
arms.
move.
I can't move, and they're still worried about me. This is how psychotic I am,
Two
right?
two layers of protection for this guy. We
Yeah,
don't
from the guy who cannot move, we've got him zipped into a bed, you know? I mean, this shit's so you can't even make it up, right? Like
Do you have any photos of this moment,
Uh,
double bagged?
I just it like in the and then when I started to get my brain back together, I was like, "Can I just get out of this bed with zippers, please?" And they're like, "Nah, not yet, dude. You're still out there, man." "I'm fine." They're like,
At
you
least that was reality. It's if that's just like a continuation of the hallucination. Oh my gosh.
oh, no,
Wow. What
dude."
a and there okay, so there's so much to explore here, but I have to go back, and it's like you just laid out everybody, wife, kids, immediate family, friends who just showed up for you. And I know as I don't know a single alcoholic who does not have damage of key relationships. How are you feeling as you are going through this? Granted, in maybe a bit of a lucid state, but what is that experience like watching these individuals show up for you in such a manner where I'm assuming there has to be some damage based on your drinking from the past? Like, what is that experience like?
It's just the most humbling thing you could ever imagine, even still looking back on it. I mean, and my dad, he talks about it too. Like, he had a lot of guilt because, he was praying just like I was praying for anything to happen to change the course of my life.
Get you to
Right.
stop
Stop
drinking.
drinking,
Yep.
and then I break my neck and my dad's like, "Oh my god, like, this is" I said, "We didn't read the fine print," but, you know what, I told him, we're like 2.5 months into this rehab and, we're having this emotional moment, and I said, "You never feel sorry, dad. Like, I'm better now than and I'm still in a power wheelchair. I still can't eat or feed myself and, feed myself or dress myself, and I'm like, "Don't ever, ever have any guilt around this." The house was on fire and I got out of it. Like, when the house is on fire, you get out of the house. You don't grab anything, you just run out. You grab your kids and get out. And I there was my house was totally on fire, but the way my little brother, my big sister stepped up, my mom, and without my wife is just unbelievable to me. I mean, I put her on a pedestal like this, just and nobody knows how bad things were except for her, right? I mean, they weren't day in, day out dealing with someone who's emotionally totally unstable, goes from being the sweetest guy in the world to being blackout drunk to being passed out, tried to deal with 2 daughters, and all that. And then a guy you just can't talk to an alcoholic. I mean, we're always the victim, or well, I put in all these hours for you guys. And then my friends, they stayed with me. I still can't believe it. I mean, my friends, Casey and Victoria, started the GoFundMe for me, not my family. Right? I don't know if we would have started a GoFundMe. We're not That's a takes a lot of pride to do that. And they started a GoFundMe and they asked my brother and sister and April's my wife, if they would be okay with something like that. And we said, "Yeah, we're gonna need all the help we can get." My sister-in-law started a meal train for us, and the love and the people in Pueblo is just a really great community. And I still can't. I did everything I could to burn all the bridges I could find. Um, I mean, just totally irrational maniac thought that I could just I just got away with everything for so long and without any real consequence. It then combine that with the alcohol and the partying, I, uh, I just still can't believe how much this community supported me, the people in the community, that circled around my family, and in this crazy, I mean, totally fluke. I mean, you just talk about, like, I know everybody, when they heard I broke my neck, thought it was I was in a DUI car accident. I mean, I'm sure 10 out
Yeah.
of 10
Yep.
people thought that. And then when they said he was playing with his daughter in the living room, like, are you kidding me? Just I have some of my friends tell me that, they remember where they were when they found out, because it's just so ludicrous that that's how I got hurt, and, or that it wasn't involved some other crazy scheme on out on the I had to I was out on the reservoir, Party Cove. I was a menace for years out there, on the lake, and that there wasn't something to do with boating or whatever. I mean, I know it was November, but just it was, I just can't. believe that people still gave me another chance. I mean, I did a lot of good in my life, and I always tried to do right by everybody, but there becomes a time whenever it's just like, "Fuck that guy," you know? And nobody really they were just all were, starting with my wife and on down, just, "How can we help?" My work, my boss is like, I can't say enough about my work and the guy I work for and his family. They're like family to me as well, and they were just like, "Whatever we can do to help." That's what everyone said, I was very fortunate. I mean, shoot, he stayed with me or I mean, I'm a pretty capable guy and I've done a lot, but my boss and his family were very loyal to me because, it was getting pretty hard to keep me employed, I'm sure.
Right.
And the stuff he was probably hearing about me and worried about the drinking and all of that. Um but they never wavered and um it's just absolutely I still don't know what I did to deserve such loyalty
Yeah.
and love from so many parts